I just keep thinking about Norman Osborn line, but very underrated movie, by the way, the original Spider-Man. Bravo. Okay,
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
you know what though,
Do you
Bertram?
do you have a Willem Dafoe impression? Is this how you talk close?
I built this company.
Do you have any idea what I've done for you? Oh my gosh,
Okay.
people are freaking out.
Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Upsiders. Headed all the way up. And what that means is, well, first off, I want to thank you for joining us. My name is Los, joined by Bertram. But what the purpose of this show is to highlight, celebrate those working on the solutions of everyday problems that we face today, and not just focusing on the
Yeah.
doom and the gloom, but the bloom and the I'm missing
Ooh,
the other word.
ooh,
The bloom and
man, the
I
poet
lost
laureate Los.
I lost it there. I should have wrote that one down. But yeah, we're looking for people working on making the world better than we found it. So as I
Wow.
said, yeah, my name's Los, joined by Bertram. Bertram's right here. Say hi, Bertram.
Hello. How are you? How are
Oh,
you doing?
I, you know, we're doing we're doing all right.
Oh my gosh.
We're doing all right, but we would probably do even better if you go ahead, click subscribe if you haven't already, or follow,
Yes.
depending on the application that you're using. Also, like this if you're watching on YouTube. Hello, good to see you. What color shirt are we wearing? Um, but if you're listening, yeah, give us a thumbs up, a review after this episode is done. Let your friends, loved
Please, man.
ones, worst enemies know
Please.
that this is your new favorite show. So, without further
I'll
ado,
do anything. It'll be
right?
like that episode of Black Mirror where the guy from the IT crowd, he's just like pulling his teeth out and stuff like that just to can make his money to afford his wife's brain treatments. I'll do it. I'll just start taking out my teeth right now. If you hit that like and subscribe, please. I'll do it.
Bertram, question,
Yes.
and this isn't a stumper. I swear. Uh,
Okay.
outside of home and outside of
Hmm.
work, what is your favorite? Where is your favorite place? Where is your favorite place to hang out?
Hmm. Nature?
Mm,
Camping?
out in the
Hiking?
wild? Into the
Being
wild?
surrounded by greenery?
Mm,
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
there's, living in Indiana, especially Indianapolis, so we're surrounded by a lot of state parks. We have a good amount of state parks within about an hour's driving distance. So
Mhm.
I like being in nature. Like I like that feeling you get when the air is just a little cold, and you just take that deep breath and you get all that fresh air
Mhm.
into your lungs. You know what I'm talking about,
Mhm.
Los?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that's when I'm not home or at work. That's where I
That's
like
where
to
you like
be
to be.
among many other places. Coffee shops are a big one too, buddy.
Coffee shops. I've heard
I
a thing or
love
two about
yeah.
where do you like to go? Bowling alleys? I know that's been a thing.
I don't like to hang out at bowling alleys.
Oh,
They're actually kind of sad.
oh.
But well, because you know why is a lot of the bowling alleys they look like you're in a cave, right? There's
Mm.
no windows. You go to a bowling alley where there's windows to the
Quite
outside world, Lowe's?
cavernous. Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something if you could look outside as you're throwing a bowling ball? That would be a pretty slick idea. I know you have the pin setters and stuff, so they take
Yeah.
up a lot of room. But yeah, one of the best places to just go hang out in Indianapolis is this place called Pins. It's called Pins Mechanical Company, and it's duck pin bowling. Have you ever been duck pin bowling?
I can't say I have.
You would like it. They're little tiny pins and like just a small bowling ball, like almost like a shot put that you can
Mm.
have in your hand. I don't know how much shot puts weigh, so maybe I'm completely off. But and pins, the alley is much shorter,
Mm.
like very short, and you could just go to pins. It's over in on it's by oh man, why my blankets over there on Mass Ave, by the garage, which is used to be the Coca-Cola bottling company, and they converted into like this gigantic space with a lot of restaurants and shops and pins, and it's just a really cool hangout spot. But you could also like play pinball at pins. You can go on a swing. You could play skee ball. You could play the basketball shooting games. You can play Jenga. There's just and you can have some beer too. But
Mm.
it's just a really great hangout spot too. So bowling is another one that you mentioned. That's a good one. What about you?
Um, I don't know.
Run club?
Run club. Yeah. So we have
You still
run.
doing Blacklist?
We do have. Yeah, we do. Run clubs are good. Yeah, it's a good place to exercise and just meet up with people. Community.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my favorite right now. But yeah, I will be. Will admit I'm searching for some others here. Um, and that's kind of what we're
You go
getting
hang out at the
into.
library ever?
No, I haven't. Well, it's been years. At one point, at one point, the library was one of my third places. Around the time we started being
Mm.
friends, I'd spend a lot of time in the library. Downtown Los Angeles Library,
Um,
Central. Yeah.
yeah, Los is living in Los Angeles right now. How about the Museum of Contemporary Art? Have you spent
Oh,
any time there?
museums. Museums could be a good one. No, I haven't been to yeah, one of those museums in a while.
Mocha Museum of Contemporary Art. That's a really good place to just go hang out. I'm gonna challenge you there. You have is the Last Bookstore still open in Los Angeles?
It is. It is. I
Oh
went not too long
man.
ago. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, okay. I'll put the Last Bookstore in the show notes so that
yeah.
people can see. If you're ever in Los Angeles, that's a really good. We were just talking before the podcast about how people go to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it's like the most disappointing tourist trap that there is in Los Angeles. And I lived there for 8 years, and when people go visit, they're like, "Give me a list of places to go. I want to go see the Hollywood Walk of Fame." And I try if I remember. I'm like, go to the Last Bookstore instead because that's like a fun place to go, just hang out.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I was just
It's in the
sharing
show
that.
notes.
I was just sharing that as a Angelino. I think a lot of the tourist places are underrated.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like the Walk of Fame, even as someone who's lived here for almost 15 years. But okay. But that's the reason why I asked is because that's kind of what we're getting into today is third places, specifically sober third places. And
Hmm.
what a third place is, you might ask, is it's the place that falls between you have home and you have work, you know, home being your first, work being your second. Where is that place that's in between? Like when you're getting off of work and you don't quite want to go home yet, maybe you're meeting up with friends. Maybe you just need some peace and quiet, need to unwind or work off some steam. Maybe it's the gym. Maybe it's a cafe, a bowling alley, a bar, as what has always been one of the most popular and oldest third places around. In fact, Bertram, I know you have a history lesson for us, but bars specifically originate from the term tabernae, which was popular in the Roman Empire. Um, and that evolved into what we know as a tavern or a pub or a bar, which all have their own like slightly different definitions, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Pub, short for public house.
public house, that's right. But
Yeah.
Tabernet was a place that's yeah, in addition to alcoholic beverages, ale was a native drink of
Mm.
of ancient Roman Britain. But yeah, they also sold stuff. You could just buy food, you could buy just goods for your home or for your travels because they would space these tabernets out like miles and miles. Because people traveling every so often, they would want to stop by and, just either rest or refuel. And so that's what the purpose of the original, what we now know as tavern, but tabernets were. But you know,
Mm.
over time, we've found out that alcohol isn't the best for you. In fact, I believe it's toxic for every cell in your body, right? And hey, I
Yeah.
like to indulge, I'm not saying I'm a teetotaler myself, but many out there aren't, and many out there either don't drink by choice or maybe are recovering because they're newly sober. But there seems to be a sort of disconnect because of the way society likes to, we're going out after work, we're going to the bar, happy hour, karaoke.
Mm,
No one ever says, hey, let's go to the library together for a group outing, or let's go to the bowling alley or Last Bookstore, any of those places. But there are
mm.
very rich examples of what we call sober third places. So, Bertram,
Yeah.
yeah, what's the word there?
That's really interesting because when you talked about this episode, I think we've covered third spaces before, Los. It was Ray Oldenburg, I think, which is why it comes up because I'm pretty sure we made fun of that dude's name, I think. He coined it in like what 1989 with the book The Great Good Place. I loved your definition. I wanted to add a piece from his book where it says a generic designation where you can host regular, regular, the voluntary, the informal, and the happily anticipated gatherings of individuals beyond the realm of home and work. And I just think that's really interesting to think about all the different methods that the third space can be, right? Places that you sign up to go, places that can be informal, things that you can sort of anticipate. So I really like that. And then you mentioned like a history lesson about the roots of this idea of the tavern. And I put a link in the show notes about the American Revolution that said, and that it was Ray Oldenburg's book where he brought this up too, that the American Revolution was cooked up in taverns. And I imagine, Los, that you're something of a Sons of Liberty fan.
Well, yeah, what you saying that reminded me of the first Spider-Man movie when Norman Osborn's like, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Oh yeah. um, the Sons of Liberty, if you don't know, they were your rabble rousers, your troublemakers in Boston. Samuel Adams, who you, even if you don't know anything about history and you like a beer or two, you probably know Samuel Adams, you know John Hancock. And I guess they used to meet at this public house called the Green Dragon. And I believe you should know our statesman Daniel Webster. You know Daniel Webster,
Yeah.
Los?
And the devil?
The Devil and Daniel Webster. I was in that play. I played Blackbeard. I think I was on the jury of the damned. In high school, Daniel Webster referred to the Green Dragon as the headquarters of the Revolution, citing its role as a key to gathering place for mechanics and other tradesmen who supported ratifying the U.S. Constitution. So these are some of our earliest examples. And for me, I guess it's troubling that these places were taverns. Uh, in the book, he talks about in different parts of history how the third place sort of became something else, similar to like the French Revolution and what it became there. You already mentioned Rome. And so it's interesting that you want to talk specifically about sober places, right? Because I think maybe we need to rewrite some of our history or update it because I'm sure you've seen the articles out lately talking about how Gen Z is killing booze. Did you see that?
Yeah, they're partying less, they're canoodling less,
Yeah.
if I may say that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're doing a lot of the third place stuff less, just in general. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll see if I can find something to put in into the show notes, maybe from the USA Today, talking about how they're exploring their sobriety.
Hmm.
And so my question is, Los, you're something of being hip with the youngsters. Where are these Gen Zers hanging out?
I just keep thinking about Norman Osborn line, but very underrated movie, by the way, the original Spider-Man. Bravo. Okay.
Godspeed, Spider Man.
You know what though,
Do you
Bertram?
do you have a Willem Dafoe impression? Is this how you talk, Los?
Slip his face. He's like, no. Um, I built this company.
Do you have any idea what I've done for you? Oh my gosh,
Okay,
people are freaking out. People are
but
changing the channel.
yeah, sorry.
They're
Hold
they're
on
watching
there.
Mr. Beast.
Everyone, don't click out of our
Don't
thumbnail.
leave. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If
Um,
Willem Dafoe, if you're watching this, I would like to issue an apology. You are a phenomenal actor. Go
friend.
watch The Last Temptation of Christ. Great
Yes,
movie.
yes, yes, yes. Um, no, you know what? Gen Z, I am not as plugged into Gen Z as I should be. Um, so, I'm just as curious as you might be and our listeners are as to where they are meeting versus where they could be meeting.
I'm going to do something different today, Los. I am
Oh,
not going to try and find an article that answers where Gen Z is going. I'm going to get my answer from you.
no,
If you're a Gen Zer, go ahead
in the
and put in the
comments.
comments. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you leave a comment. Where's your third space at? Where are you hanging out? That's preferably, I guess, it's not a bar, and it's not home, not work. Where y'all going?
Yeah.
There you go, Los. I got you a couple comments this week.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I did see a few weeks ago, unrelated actually for this episode, I read something in the New York Times about that recently. Oh yeah, there we go. I found it.
Where Gen Zers are hanging out?
Yeah, the
Oh
sober
no.
party girl revolution. Let's put that in the
Mm,
description here for everyone in the chat notes. But it's at a members only club in Manhattan. A new generation rejects alcohol,
mm,
isn't quite ready to give up the party. What a byline.
mm.
Bravo, bravo.
Man. Los, have you ever had liquid death?
Ah, yeah, water. I think I have
Yeah. Yeah. I finally had my first one just because I don't know if you ever use GoPuff where you have like stuff delivered to your house,
delivered.
like groceries and things. Yeah. And sometimes I like to get clearance bags, and you don't get to pick what's in your clearance bag. They just send you whatever's about to expire. And they send me a couple cans of liquid death. And I'm like, man, I've never had these. Man, Los, I had like a sparkling lime water liquid death. It was just outstanding. And I see what I've been missing.
What do
So all
you
these people, all these Gen Zers that go to parties and they don't want to drink, so they have liquid death. You're amazing. Let's all I'll get in on that. That liquid. I thought about that liquid death that I had. I had it a week ago. I thought about it 3 times today.
there's been um there's been quite a few emerging alcohol-free like cocktail beverages that have come out as well. I think
Oh
one
yeah,
is
yeah,
called
yeah.
like Gaia. Um, yeah, and there's a few others out there. But it's interesting. Liquid death is funny because it is just water. And in some cases sparkling water, but I don't have beef with it because whatever gets you excited about drinking water, so be it, so be it. Um,
Well, I assume why they made it was because it helps you fit in at parties, right? If you feel self conscious, it looks like a beer, kind of.
I think it just wanted
Isn't
to get
isn't that
people
why they did the
excited.
packaging?
Think they also wanted to chase the energy drink crowd as well. We could both be
Hmm,
completely wrong, but yeah, I think it's for the better. Um,
interesting.
yeah, better than having a bunch of dehydrated people. Cool.
The
So
Hydro homies,
let's take us back. Third places, third spaces, third spaces, third places. What
please.
are we saying?
Third places.
Okay, cool.
You can say whatever you want, brother. Okay, fairness. In fairness, I called the Google Doc third spaces, but I have stuff in the notes that say third places. We
So
have a conundrum, Los.
we do have a conundrum. Um, but Bertram, question.
Yeah, sure.
Why are third places slash spaces? Why do they matter?
What do they matter?
Yeah, why do they matter? Why should we care?
otherwise your life just becomes a monotonous grind, right? I think some of the articles that I have in the show notes specifically mention that without them, life starts to become very repetitive because, and it's, everybody who listens to this podcast regularly knows that I work with students, and I often guide them towards building some skills now and understanding their goals and their vision for how they would like their life to turn out, because it can very easily fall into the grind, right? Where
Yeah.
you can get a job, you end up working 48 hours a week sometimes. And you work, you come home, you sleep, you have some time to eat, maybe do something for yourself, and then you work and you just do that for 5 days. And if you're working really hard, or if you're not sleeping particularly well, it can be very easy to just lose the weekend too, especially if you have to do chores like laundry, cutting the grass, any of that stuff. And so you end up losing any time to build your interests, right? Or just spend time with people, or do some um tranquil meditative stuff. A lot of the third spaces that I saw today were, they talk about parks a lot, right? They talk about outdoor areas where it can be informal, sort of spontaneous, and just going to a park, sitting down on a bench, things of that nature. And so having those things, I'm thinking about Robin Williams' speech from Dead Poet Society, right? It's like those are the reasons that we're alive, or just all that stuff that you do with the time that you have where you're not working and sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think as you shared here, there's a bit about from the Brookings Institution, who I'm a big fan of for their
Oh
studies
yeah,
and
right on.
researches, but as a way to build community as well. Get some friends, get some people to talk to outside of if you're working at, somewhere where you have your coworkers or nothing wrong with at home with your family, but yeah, friends, people. Yeah, just building community. And that's what third places slash spaces could do for you. And yeah, as you have
Mm.
here the resource that you share, then for the non-readers out there, I could also share this with you as well. But yeah, they in this article they quote some commentator who refers to third places as the living room of society. Oh, look at that. The
Mm.
living room of society.
Yeah.
And so when we think living
Uh
room, what do we do there? We do activities, right? To bring us pleasure, relief, relax. And so yeah, that's what your third place slash space could serve for you. And it doesn't have to always be boozy. That's the point there.
mm. I did put up another link in the show notes to an example that happened in Indianapolis, which is funny because the only reason I know about it is because last week one of my friends invited us to meet up at this place. It's called Loom, and they said, "Oh, we should all go hang out at Loom. That's where we go hang out." And I think they're Gen Zers. How old do you got to be? 25. They're 25,
Yeah,
26. That's Gen Z.
97 or later. Yeah, 1997 or later.
Okay. So this place called Loom, what's interesting about it is it's a music bar, and you could go there to do remote work. So it opens up so you can, just work there and hang out. But there's also beer, so I want to front load that. I know our episode's about uh, sober third spaces, but one of the weird things that struck me as odd about this place, which is why it came back into my memory, is that they also have a commercial washer and dryer there,
Yeah.
which is just very fascinating. So it's your typical spot where it's like, okay, we have music here, that we have beer here, you can hang out here and do your work, you can have your virtual meetings here, and we're also going to have a washer dryer. Like that's pretty cool. I don't know any places that just straight up offer that aren't just a laundromat. No,
Yeah.
that's a great idea for a third. I mean, one time, the wife and I, our dryer wasn't working, and we spent the day at the laundromat. And there was this really cool laundromat not too far from our house where they did have everything. Man, they had like a game room, they had like a food, they had a shopping place where you could go shop for items and stuff, and just hang out. And it was just a massive like complex. I'm like, this is a really cool idea, man, because Lord knows one of the one of the worst places to just sit and wait is when you're waiting for your clothes to wash and dry, you know?
Yeah.
So to be able to have stuff there where you could just kind of hang out with people, and there were tables and chairs, and like, I ended it took what could have been an awkward situation to into one where you felt a sense of community.
Mm. Mm. So yeah, we have highlighted quite a few places, and I agree. I think we need to make laundry fun again, you know? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, stop making it lame, you know? And hey, I know there's some of you, my partner included, who thinks laundry is fun. Doing laundry is fun. And I guess it could be if that's your thing. But let's
Oh, I thought you were talking about me, your podcasting partner. You're
you're
talking about your.
about to
Oh,
deny
that's
that
like you don't know
allegation.
me at all, brother. Me and my wife hate laundry day.
Oh, I hate it so much. Um, but yeah, let's build some amenities around it, you know? Because I remember growing up for the first few years of my adolescence, we used to go to the laundromat. And yeah, it was just sitting around, but there was like one or two arcade machines, and then you had the vending
Mm.
machine, but my parents never got stuff from the vending machine for us. So it was just like a bunch of sitting around. But why make it like that, you know? Make it fun, engaging, make it a place where,
Yeah.
yeah, if that's your thing, some people could hang out. So I think that's what it,
Arcade's a great idea just because you're already using the quarters, right?
yeah,
Like you got the quarters already.
yeah,
Any spare quarters go to Los so he could go play Pac-Man.
exactly.
Hmm.
Pac-Man sound. Uh,
I'm gonna
so
get those ghosts.
So did you have any favorite examples? We it could have been ones that we've already named of third places in case someone's listening now, they're like, "Hey, you've given me a lot of information, but like if I could just pinpoint a few places, what would those places
I
be?"
already I already did that. I gave you Loom. I gave you pins.
Okay.
What
No,
more
I'm
do
just
you want?
asking. I'm just there's people who listen and then
We
there's
started
they
our episode that way. What? I gotta give you more now?
yes, we're circling back. Do you know how these things work? We
No,
go in
I
a
want.
little loop.
No,
Yeah.
no, we're not circling back. We're going in a straight line.
Oh no, we
Okay.
don't. We we don't know straight lines on
Mm.
this show to save our lives. But yeah,
And I think what starts with the library, right? Is
yeah,
because, and it's another thing I think a lot about. The library is one of the places that you could go in your city that if you don't have any money, you can still just hang out there. And uh, what if you don't want to read books, right? And that's
yeah,
one of the issues with the library, right? Is
yeah.
here's this thing that's built to house and check out books, but now it's starting to become so much more, right? They're starting to become these neighborhood hubs where you could check out, tools. You can get on the internet. You could find resources, right? The library has sort of become a resource hub. And man, I don't want to put all the work on these poor librarians. Like, let's separate those jobs a little bit and let's have more hubs for other things.
Mhm.
All of a sudden they're going to start putting washer and dryers at the library for all I know, which maybe some of them already do.
Yeah,
Laundromats are a good place. Like, how do we places that you can go just to get some services,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Places to eat too. Um, yeah, I think I saw somewhere like donut shops, and I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
normalizing
Well, and
donut.
and
Yeah,
well, we have to be careful too because one of the points is it probably shouldn't be a place where you are
spend
required to
money.
spend money, should
That's
it?
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And if not, like, yeah, one thing I like about the coffee shops, I mean, not in today's economy, but they used to be fairly cheap, right? Like, let me go get a drip cup and
Yeah.
it doesn't cost anything. And then you could sit there for a few hours. But that's getting far and few between. But then you could go, coffee shops now have cheaper options. So you can go get a cookie or something like that and just go and hang out there and work digitally. I see it. It happens a lot when I work with people, right? As I take a lot of meetings and in-person meetings, we could just go hang out at a coffee shop or something and
Mm,
sit there and buy something small and then hang out there. That's one of my favorite ones.
yeah. Yeah. Parks, 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 parks,
Yeah.
parks. We need more parks in this country. and in our cities, period, because they really check off most of those boxes that we went over, right? It's like free generally, involuntary, right? You could stumble right into a park. It might be part of your commute, whether you're walking
Yeah.
or driving or cycling, if you're one of those lucky people who have the infrastructure over here. Um, but yeah, and
Mm.
then parks themselves, when you think of like a good park, they have a lot of things that you could plan around, as well as again that spontaneity. So for example, um, did you get to when you visited New York, did you get to go to Central Park, Bertram?
I don't think so.
Cool.
I
It's
don't
okay.
think we had time to go there. I wanted to though.
Yeah, but Central Park's a great example, not just because it is Central Park, but it's an example of what a great city park could have contain, right?
Yeah.
They have trails that people can be walking or running along. They have wide green spaces. So if you just want to sit or have a picnic or yoga or do any of those things, you can, or just hang out, sit there, people watch. They also have museums in there where, hey, if you want to make a date out of it, you can just go in
Mm.
there and explore. Yeah, there's places where you could just, sit around, like I said, but see the scenery. But yeah, I think a good park has a little bit of everything, that doesn't force you to spend money, but has some maybe what we would consider premium options if you like. But doesn't even need to get that fancy, right?
Mm.
You could have a New York City is another good example of having like pocket parks where it's like almost an alley, like it's basically just a very small, I guess they would call it a parklet, where yeah, it's a small space, but it has green space and places to sit. And just yeah, you could easily just go with your friends and say, hey, let's go over there, hang out. Grab a coffee and go there. Or if you need a time
Yeah.
by yourself to meditate, you can go there. So I think we are underparked in this country, in our cities. And I think there's a lot
Absolutely.
that's becoming more and more because on this show we like to talk about the solutions being done, but we see more of that, more green spaces being built in these new developments, but we also need to maybe find a way to incorporate them into our existing environments as well, or make that normalized parks, right? uh, Instead of just putting so much emphasis, especially now as we see this gap with Gen Z and how they're not going to bars, they're not drinking, they're not partying. Hey, there's parks there, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so
One of the
Matt,
big ones in my
oh,
neighborhood. Oh, go ahead.
no, that's mine. I would say parks
Oh.
is yeah, what I
What
would yeah.
one of the big pieces of my neighborhood is the local park, right? Like I live right next to a park. And so it just sort of brings the whole neighborhood together. It tends to be a meeting place. It's where we have our farmers markets. And it's a great meeting place for everybody in the neighborhood, and they've renovated a couple parts of it recently. They added a pickleball court, I think, a couple of years ago, and now they added a gigantic soccer field. So, and they made a really great trail around the soccer field now, and so it's a place where we like to go walk our dog. And cutting through the park is always like one of the nicest parts of walking the dog. But then also made me think of something too, Los, is we need to have a to be continued episode
Mhm.
about dog friendly, like where are places in your city that you can take your dog, because it's something that me and the wife look at a lot when we go on vacation, right? As
Yeah,
if we're debating, okay, well, like we typically take the dog with us everywhere. What cities are there that are very known for being very dog friendly? And for me, I think a lot of third spaces happen to be places that allow us to have our dog, right? So there's certain coffee shops that'll let us go in there. There's certain bookstores that'll let us take them in there. There's parks that'll let us go in there. Some restaurants, provided you sit on the patio. And so that's also something important to consider, excuse me, when I'm thinking about which third spaces to go to.
absolutely. Absolutely. Put that in the bookmark there for a future episode from
Yeah,
the Upsiders.
dog friendliness and how we're trying to get closer to it.
Okay. So we got some games that we like to play towards the end. Bertram likes to surprise me too.
Yeah.
So let's get into the
Well,
first one here. Who is our hero
okay.
of the Upside today?
Oh man, okay. So it is. I put a link in the show notes to Olaronke Akinmowo. I think I listened to her YouTube video multiple times. It's been an hour since I watched it. She started. I think it's in the Bronx. Let me. No, I don't think it's the Bronx, but it's in New York. Is Brooklyn. And so she started the Free Black Women's Library. She's the artist in residence from 2023 to 25 at the Met. And she essentially started this little bookshop, this bookstore where it's similar to a library where you can go in, you could check out books, you can hang out, and there's no fee to get in or anything like that. You could just show in, you could work there, and it has. She said, just I forget what her number was, but it was a huge number, like 5,000 or something, of just books. I think with Black female authors, and so there's a really good video there where it's just a really cool place that she's built there, and so for that reason, Olaronke is my hero of the week.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, the creator and director of the Free Black Women's Library.
Shout outs to yeah, it's still Black History
Yeah.
Month as of this recording. Probably not when you're gonna listen to this. As of this
No,
recording.
it'll be December by the time they listen to this.
Uh, but yeah, shout outs to okay. So and now we have our other game, one of my favorites here, which is Myth versus Reality. I haven't seen anything, so
Okay.
Bertram's just gonna ask me based on what we discussed and covered during this episode. Bertram's gonna, yeah, just shoot some facts my way on whether they're
Yeah.
myth or reality. So,
Yeah. And I usually push Los to sort of give a decent answer to explain it. I used to have like 5 or 6 on here. And then I noticed I only give Los a minute to answer these questions. And the last episode where we did this, he took like 3.5 minutes. And I was like, you won. But, it's like, dang, Los, go faster, man.
uh,
So I'm trying
okay,
it differently. Maybe I'm the problem. I cut it down to 3 questions. Are you ready, Los, for the
okay,
reality check?
I'm ready. I'm
All right,
ready.
put 1 minute on the clock, 3 questions. Here we go. Myth or reality, Starbucks is the quintessential third space.
Myth, because as we spoke about, it's a place where you gotta pay. It's not conducive to just the type of activity or not all types of activities that you might want to engage in between your work and going home.
I'll say, I'll say that. Claim digital spaces like Discord or Reddit count as third spaces.
No, because I think what we're talking about are the places between home and work, right? That's living room of uh of society, as we quoted. So you could theoretically go and log on to Discord and Reddit anywhere. So you don't have to be at a specific space. So I wouldn't consider that a third space at all. Touch grass.
I, I got to throw the challenge flag on that one, Los, because
Oh,
I think they can count
they
a little
can
bit.
count.
And last claim, third spaces are expensive to build.
No, no, we just spoke about parks. Well, parks could be expensive, but no, I don't think they have to be a laundromat, a coffee shop. It could because a third space could be anywhere, right? Anywhere that's not home or work.
Yeah,
So, theory, yeah, you don't need much money to do that.
very good, Los. I'm pretty sure that was under a minute. I
Okay,
think.
but let's
Yeah,
unpack
it's
your
with
disagreement with the digital spaces.
yeah, please. First of all, shout outs to Starbucks for at least the fact that the workers in there are always phenomenal. I feel like,
Yeah.
and they don't seem to care if you just sit in there all day. I've heard back and forth. Now, I hate the organization, and I
Mm,
I tell a story all the time about the awful thing that they did to Indianapolis downtown that was really ethically wrong, how they
oh no.
treated our city. But the people that, the employees in there didn't bother anybody, and they let you hang out there
Mm,
quite a bit. So that's been a good third space for me. But I like to stay in the local coffee shop, so I haven't been there in quite some time. Yeah, man, I don't think anywhere it says that a third space necessarily has to be physical, does it?
mm,
I've Some of the articles I've seen define it as being physical, and for some others it is not physical. And so the answer for this claim was a sort of like, probably leaning a little bit towards more reality, that they count as third spaces, Discord and Reddit, because they offer a neutral ground. Um, and they can be vital for local democracy or mental health, like if you do them at a local level,
mm,
but the physicality part's gone.
mm.
I
I
feel in
see.
tune with my city because I'm on the Indianapolis subreddit, right? And so, like, I
Yeah.
feel kind of dialed in from that aspect.
Yeah, and there could, I mean, that's literally what they're called on Reddit or communities, your subreddits. So I don't,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I was being too cute with my answer, but yeah, I don't disagree now that you
No,
elaborated
you're
there.
still good. It's still, hey man, it's still it's a on the fence answer
I
basically.
get
Like,
it.
yeah, it could be either, it could go either way.
I get it. So for
Um,
sure. Yeah,
can I build off your third one?
please.
Uh, Third spaces are expensive to build. You got that right. You said, hey, it could be just like a community garden, a shared front porch. That would take me to my word of the week, my
Mm,
phrase of the week, which is tactical urbanism, which I didn't know was a thing. Uh, I put a link into the show notes on what is tactical urbanism,
mm,
from the Tactical Urbanist's Guide to Getting It Done. It is all about action, planning by doing. Examples include highly visible and formalized efforts, where essentially you get tired of waiting for policy to make parks. You and I were talking a lot about parks. What happens when you don't have the funding from the city or the infrastructure to build a park? Tactical urbanism is, well, we will just take over this part of the street, take over this part of an area, and do some sort of like a pop-up park, right? If
ooh,
you look at the link in the show notes, you will find, hey, they do pop up bike lanes, which is very interesting. They do pop up crosswalks. They will block off part of a parking lot and turn it into a third space, like a little garden, or a place to hang out or play games. So we're going to put a park bench over here and block it off, and they know it's not going to be anything permanent. It's just tactical urbanism. It is a pop-up third space that people can take advantage of, which I understand can be frustrating for people because technically they're going outside of the scope of the law. Um, Sometimes you can get in trouble for that stuff. Like, shout outs to the gangster gardener,
mm,
Ron Finley. So tactical urbanism, something I did not know about.
I love it. And hey, I don't want to sound too hippie urbanist per se, but we probably should be making more parks than parking lots. If I don't think that should be
Hmm.
controversial, but I know there's most of us drive in this country, so that's
Yeah.
not so commonplace, and it might just sound that I'm being radical and controversial, like I said. But when you think of the amount of space dedicated to parking lots, what if those were parks? Oh my goodness. How wonderful would that be? Especially in the downtown
Yeah.
areas. And that's what I meant by like those parklets, right? Those little pocket parks, right? You could turn any old parking lot, and when you fill it with with green space, it comes to realize it's like, wow, that how
Mm.
much space parking lots really do take, you know?
Yeah. Man,
So, yeah.
here's a quote from Jamie Lerner. The lack of resources is no longer an excuse not to act. The idea that action should only be taken after all the answers and the resources have been found is a sure recipe for paralysis. The planning of a city is a process that allows for corrections. It is supremely arrogant to believe that planning can only be done after every possible variable has been controlled. So, tactical urbanism was first coined in 2010, and we talk about how do we use these short-term, low-cost, scalable interventions and policies to give people more access in their city?
Yeah. And I'd like to end by maybe just circling back to that idea around taverns and pubs and bars,
Mm,
right? That our country was literally founded upon, and that has become, that has been such a common space for so many people throughout different eras and ages. Maybe we just stop overcomplicating it and make alcohol free bars, right? Like,
have
so like I'm looking at one right
you gone
now.
to an IV? Have you gone to an IV bar, Los?
IV bar? No, what is that?
That's a really good question. A Vitality bar?
Uh,
You never heard
it's
of that?
no. Should I? Is that ours?
Uh, uh, they offer IV hydration for stress, fatigue, immune boost
Ah,
performance when you party hard and want to. I don't know if that's something that I should be talking about because I know nothing about it. All I know is that I see Vitality IV bars, a few of them around Indianapolis, and I'm like, who goes in there? Is that something I should check out? If you've been to one, put your experience in the comments, please.
yeah.
Let us know if you've ever been to one. Am I completely out of line? Like, no, Bertram, those are dangerous places. I have no idea. I know nothing about them.
Um, because I bring that up because it's like sometimes we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need a different kind of wheel, you know? And given
Mm,
that us as a society, especially think about like I'm a night owl. And I know a lot of people out there are, and um, the 9 to 5, and just like, what if you want to dance? What if you want to listen to music? And you're sober, and you should be proud of that, right? Um, Especially if you're a recovering addict. But you still want, that vibe, that feeling, right? So maybe we should. I'm looking at this place in New York City. It's called Hecate. I'll put that here in the
please.
chat for you here. Um, and if you're watching on YouTube, we'll probably have that on the video. Um, but or you're already watching, you're probably seeing it on screen right now. But yeah, it's like an elixir lounge slash cafe, and it's really just it's a sober bar. They serve zero ABV beers and wines, a vast array of and they're already voted one of the best sober bars in America, which apparently there's plenty. So that may be just something we're sprinkling into this mix of third spaces. I think I think just from a community standpoint and just as a society, infrastructure standpoint, parks, libraries, utilities that have already been in place and are often underused should be taken advantage of. But when we think about Gen Z, right? Maybe they're having a second thought of what, I don't really want to do that because I don't want to ruin my body or like, be passed out somewhere. Maybe we're just, again, creating a different wheel, you know? And that is
Mm,
something we're used to, but just removing the alcohol from it. So, yeah, just throwing that out there.
yeah. Man, Los, this episode has given us a lot to think about. I have I have never had so many future topics that I'm like, we don't have time to get to these today, but it definitely spins off, right? We got to talk about dog friendly places.
Mhm.
I in my research found that there's not just a third space, Los. There's a fourth space.
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah. And guess what? There's
But
a fifth
oh
space.
no. Oh no, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh
ready.
man, and you put in the comments if you want to know what those two are, and we'll do a future episode on fourth places and then the hypothetical fifth place.
Mm-mm-mm.
And then Los, I learned, Los knows everything. I would not be, do you know about fourth places, Los?
don't think I have, but we'll see. We'll see.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
We'll,
Finally, I know
we'll
something
s-
you don't. I won't tell you. Uh, save it for another episode. But then Los, I learned one of the links that we already put in the show notes about tactical urbanism led me to super blocks, which
Mhm,
was in what, Barcelona, I think, right? In
mhm,
Spain, this idea of super blocks. And I wanted to talk about the episode. And I think Los was like, that's fodder for a whole nether episode.
mhm.
So we may have to talk about this idea of super blocks that Barcelona is doing, which I looked it up. Guys, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
We have to talk about super blocks on another episode, but we'll give it its own due.
Yes, absolutely. But
But that's all I got, man.
yeah, and thank you all for listening. Again, glad you made it this far. So go ahead. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you're not already. If you're just listening on audio, which I shouldn't reduce that by saying just listening. But if you are listening on audio, go ahead, subscribe, follow. If you have a space to leave a review, please do so. We appreciate the more positive ones, but we're open to any feedback.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is on behalf of Bertram. I am your friendly neighborhood Los. Hope to see you again, not just on the other side, but the upside. Have a good one. Mahalo.